The hardest part with parents is, and I'll harken back to a company we had before where we did outpatient mental health services, and I used to walk into one of our kids' clinics and think, you know, what spawned that child? And then I met mom and dad and I understood. You have parents that you look at and say they have no business having kids, and if we're honest, we all know who those folks are. And you wish there was some way that you could say, no more for you, but it just doesn't work that way. Obviously, those parents who are not going to engage, that means the teacher actually has to overcome a very large hurdle. And you can have the best stuff in the world and try to get these parents involved, and they're not going to. That means the educational setting has to help those kids overcome the home setting, which is an actual detriment to development. That's tough, but it is doable. It takes a good teacher and it takes really good resources to do it. But then you have those parents rather, that are struggling parents. They just aren't sure what to do. They may be well-intended, or they just may be misinformed. But whatever it is they're doing, it's not working. What LEAPS does, once again, is it removes the guesswork of the teacher trying to come up with the right thing for the kids to do. Instead, it says, this is what you do. And then when you engage the parents on that recap does a couple things. Number one, it restates the goal of what they learned, gives the key points of the exercise, but it's a communication piece for the parents because it tells them the benefits of using the skill and the consequence of not. That is designed to create the opportunity for parents to talk to their kids about what they learned at school and to go in and re-emphasize the lessons at home that they're learning at school. So it's an engagement point for the parents to the students. And so when you have that opportunity, those struggling parents, that's great. Then there's the next parent. These are the ones that love their kids. They would do anything, and they're trying, but their kids are still behaviorally involved. And we all know those parents as well, and you want, man, how can I help? This is how you help that parent. Consistently understand where the behaviors are coming from in that classroom setting, and then realize classroom behaviors are not a vacuum. Kids behave the way they behave because that's the way they know to behave. They're not an Etch-a-Sketch where they walk out of one room, shake their head, and they act differently in another. You're liable to see that same transitional behaviors occurring at home and in the classroom. In fact, you may even see it worse at home. And so if it gives the parents the communication piece off a skill that's being taught within that classroom setting, remember the classroom is a socialized setting, so is the family. If you can emphasize the benefits of the skill, the consequence of not, understand the lesson taught, it's not only an engagement point, but it lets the parent begin understanding the parameters of acceptable behavior even in the home life. Because if it's not acceptable in a socialized setting such as school, it gives the parent the boundaries and parameters to begin that discussion at home.